I'll get this started. First, welcome to Carolinas eventually. Wanted to ask you a little bit about Matt Rhule. I think you said after the season to some Jets reporters that you guys didn't always see eye to eye, but he was a guy that really was instrumental in getting you back in school. What has he meant to your career, and kind of explain?
I honestly say if it wasn't for him, making things happen, I probably wouldn't be in the position I'm in. He stood on the table with me numerous times, and stood on the table with the university to get me back into school, to open up that door for me to rewrite my wrongs and get to be in the position that I'm in today.
Hey, Robby, it's Joe Person. Looks like, is that a McCaffrey jersey you've got? And do you have any background with him or any Panthers players currently, besides Teddy?
Yeah, I spoke to Christian. As soon as it was out there that I signed, he hit me up. So we spoke. I'm excited to be on the field with him and have that talent around me.
Robby, this is Scott Fowler from the Charlotte Observer. Welcome.
Thanks.
And to follow up on that earlier question with Matt Rhule, so you were back in Florida for a year, right, in 2014. Can you just sort of explain what happened, to interrupt your college career, and a little bit more about how Matt and you got back so you could have that great senior year in 2015?
Yeah, pretty much. I wasn't handling my business in the classroom, and I fell short. I was academically suspended, and how the school rules were set up, it was pretty much that I wasn't supposed to be able to come back to school for 5 years or a ridiculous amount of time due to the suspension and my GPA. But Coach Rhule fought hard for literally a whole year, over and over and over and over, and finally they decided to change the university rule, and that allowed me to get the chance to come back within the summer. And I had to work hard and raise my GPA and do a crazy amount of summer classes just to get eligible to play my senior year. And it also, on top of that, opened the door for a lot of students to return to school, to the university, earlier than they typically would have.
Did he also switch you from defensive back to wide receiver? Was that partly under his reign also?
That happened in the spring. That was more so of a decision that I wanted. I always played defensive back growing up, and I figured I could excel more and was able to help the team more at that spot. But then we had some injuries my sophomore year, so I had to go back to receiver.
Robby, given the familiarity you had with Matt, what is the vision that Coach Rhule sold you on that convinced you Carolina was the right spot?
I know winning is in his blood. I know that's what he's here to do. So it wasn't really much that he had to sell me on. It was in the back of my mind when I saw that he was kind of hitting the market to become a head coach. I already knew I would want to go there. And then when I saw that Teddy signed there, I just felt like it was like the icing on the cake. It really attracted me to want to be a Panther.
Robby, hey, Josh Klein from the Riot Report. Congratulations again. How do you feel like your skill set will vibe with the other receivers that are in that room? DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel, even Christian.
I think it's going to mesh perfectly. I think DJ Moore is a great receiver. I think he's very underrated, and he had a huge year last year, but I think he can do a lot of things, and he's gifted with what he can do after the catch as well. I paid attention to him. And, I really like Curtis. I especially liked him when he was coming out of Ohio State. The things that he can do, he can make a small play into a big play, and then with my speed and my over-the-top capabilities, I just think we're going to complement each other very well. And then with Christian, that's just, he's the best running back in the NFL. And then with Teddy, who has that veteran presence that knows how to spread the wealth, I think it's going to be great. We all going to complement each other in a great way.
You mentioned Teddy. What kind of connection did you guys have during that short time when he was in New York?
We had a strong connection. Teddy helped me grow as a man. There was things that I was kind of going through at the time. With still adjusting to the NFL and things that I wasn't too immune to, and things like that. He kind of helped me, see things from a older perspective, even though we are the same age. And then it's easy for me to talk to him because we come from like the same culture and similar backgrounds and things. But it's easy for me to talk football with him. He understands the game. He understands how to get a receiver rhythm and things like that. And we already have a natural friendship and natural chemistry on the field.
Robby, Elena Getzenberg, the Charlotte Observer. Congratulations. I guess, what has this period been like for you, having to stay at home? Where are you? How's life?
Yeah, obviously, I really hope that things get solved. I don't want to come off insensitive to anybody in the world, because it's a crazy situation going on. But it's been a little mind-boggling, and it's been a little frustrating, because seeing what's going on, I feel bad for people that are really affected by this financially with jobs and such forth, but I just been trying to stay safe, stay home. It's been hard because it's a lot of things I want to do to capitalize with my time, football wise and, with my life, but it's a sensitive time in the world and I just hope that it gets solved.
Is there anything in particular you're doing to like stay in shape and work out with all, gyms being closed and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I just been trying to stay on top of like what I can, like with my small, like soft tissue things, cardio, working on little things I do to try and maintain my routine as much as possible. But I've been staying away from gyms because, a lot of people go there and touch on things. So I've been trying to avoid those things.
Robby, Ashley Mahoney with the Charlotte Post again, welcome. And you touched on trying to take care of things on your own, but also during this time, what advice would you give to other free agents of navigating an unprecedented period in free agency where you don't get that face time with organizations?
Yeah, it is tough because some guys go on visits and things like that. So you kind of got to do your groundwork. But the thing I would say, like with me, is like trust your gut instinct, and just pay attention to the pattern of the organization too, and just seeing where the organization was last year, seeing where you fit in and things like that.
Robby, Christian Audi from Fox 46. First of all, welcome. Second off, have you been able to talk to Joe Brady yet? Have you had a conversation with him, and what's that been like?
Yeah, we had a brief conversation. It was just excitement on both ends, and just getting familiar with each other. He's from down South Florida as well, Broward County, so we already have that connection. But we just kind of getting familiar with each other, and just expressing his excitement, and the same thing on my end as well.
Robby, take me back to your first impression of Matt Rhule, because at the time when he's recruiting you, he hasn't had much success at Temple at that point. So what do you remember about your first impressions of him?
My first impression was with Coach Rhule was on my official visit. And, like when you do your official visit, like before you leave, you sit in an office, well, not an office, like, have like a meeting with like the head coach and probably like the position coach and one other coach. And we just had like a grown man conversation. I explained, I don't remember the conversation vividly, but I remember him making a comment of how he likes me. You know what I'm saying? And he was with me my freshman year, my redshirt freshman year, and he always liked me. He liked my skills and what I could bring to the field. He always told me I was going to be a big time player. And then he left, he went to the Giants, and then he came back my redshirt sophomore year.
Hey, Robby, it's Joe again. There's two quick things. Did you know Teddy in South Florida prior to your time with the Jets? And kind of what was your relationship like with him, if you did know him previously?
No, I didn't know Teddy personally growing up. I knew of him. Obviously, everybody pays attention to everybody. And, like, I played against him in, like, 7-on-7 tournaments. I was supposed to be on his team, but I ended up playing on a different team. But I always followed him and was always very familiar with him.
And then secondly, I know you took exception to Boomer Esiason's reporting about the Jets having offered you 4 years and $40 million. Can you say, what their offer was? And like I said, I know you disputed his reporting.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I ain't gonna get into what the offer was, and I'm kind of past that. I'm focused on this chapter. But Yeah, I addressed that, and I stand on what I said. You know, my agent addressed it too, but, you know, I'm focused on this chapter that's behind me. You know, I'm thankful for my time in New York, you know, the growth and the opportunity that they did give me, but, you know, just thankful to be where I am now.
Robbie,
Hey,
David,
Robbie.
ESPN.com again. Just following up with that a little bit, how surprised were you with all the good things that Jess were saying that they didn't make a stronger effort to keep you?
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate it because, you know, they told the truth about me. You know, they could have said things that weren't true. You know, it shows their appreciation. I know they appreciate me as a player, as a man. You know, they respect me. I respect them. But, you know, end of the day, it's business. You know, it is what it is.
Hey, Robbie. Steve Reed from the Associated Press. Welcome to Charlotte. They talked to you guys about how they plan to get you guys up to speed with the playbook. I mean, are you guys going to be doing Skype or anything like that? What are they going to do here in the future? Did they talk to you guys about that with everybody being quarantined?
Yeah, we have to start. We're starting on, like, pretty much, I guess, since, you know, obviously new head coach, we get an opportunity to start earlier. So I think we're starting on Monday, like, you know, with pretty much, you know, web stuff, meetings through the camera.
Hey, Robbie, this is Jason Brown with the Spectrum News here in Charlotte. Congratulations on your new contract. You broke down a little bit about how you feel you fit in with this offense. Is that primarily for you specifically to be the deep threat, to blow the lid off the coverages and sort of, you know, be that deep ball threat that maybe this team hasn't had for the last couple of years?
I definitely believe that's, you know, a huge asset of mine. But, you know, there's a lot of other things I can do, you know, intermediate routes and across the middle and things like that. And I think that that's going to get utilized because Coach Rhule's familiar with me as a player. You know, he had me when I was in college and saw the things I could do, and I've only gotten better since then, and I'm only going to continue to get better. You know, so I think that it's going to be just a mixture of everything. I won't be limited.
Robbie, Jason Huber, WFMZ. When you hear people talk about, you know, this Panthers team in a rebuilding stage, how do you respond to that when you look at this roster and see the potential there?
You know, personally, you know, I was just speaking to somebody about it. I don't feel like, you know, typically when a head coach comes into a team, it's hit rock bottom. You know, I don't feel like that team was left in bad hands. I think that, you know, from my understanding and from what I've seen, you know, it has been a Super Bowl contender, has been a playoff contending team. You know, I just maybe last year might not have been the best, you know, injuries and things like that, but I don't feel like the team was left in bad shape. And when you look at the roster, it's a very good roster. It's a good team. It's players that know how to play football and that want to win, you know. So I don't think that it's typically where a head coach comes in, it's a new GM and it's at rock bottom where everything has to get built from the ground up. It's already a solid foundation there. And, you know, it's a good head coach coming in that's won at a college level and been in those type of situations where he built things up, you know. So I think that it's in a good direction.
Robbie, Scott Fowler again from the Charlotte Observer. You may have addressed this, and I apologize if you did, but can you say exactly where you're calling from? And also, I wondered if you don't mind explaining your neck tattoo to us.
Oh, I'm in Plantation, Florida, and my neck tattoo, it says no pain, no gain.
Robbie, I know you talked a little bit about Teddy Bridgewater. PJ Walker also on the Panthers. What's your relationship like with him?
Yeah, you know, me and PJ, that's one of my closest friends. You know, he was with me. He came to Temple my redshirt sophomore year, and that's who me and him broke out together. His first game, he came in off the bench and let a bomb go. That was my first big play. You know what I'm saying? Since then, me and him took off. Like, we had some of the craziest passing, and me and him had I had a 239-yard game. I broke like the school record. Like, me and him was going crazy out there. So that's great to have him. Like, he knows me as a player, but he knows how to show me things to make me better. Me and him have open communication, and, you know, we stayed in contact since he was in college and since I've been in the NFL. So I'm excited to have him there, as well as Tahir and things like that, and Keith Kirkwood too.
Did you see PJ when he was in the XFL kind of follow his path?
Yeah, the crazy thing is I only was watching his team, but that's the only reason why I was watching the XFL was to see him put on every week.
Robby David with ESPN again. Can you tell me how you've matured since some early issues with some arrests and traffic violations?
I just matured in every way possible. Like I was a young man then. I feel like I'm a man now. My mentality, my decision making. My mindset. Everything has grown. Sometimes I look back at it as those things might have happened for a reason to show me what life could have been, and that I'm not meant to be in that situation. And it was just, things happen for a reason.
And back to when Matt Rhule made you a wide receiver, what was your initial reaction? I mean, how shocked were you about that, or had you done that much before?
No, I came to Temple and was playing receiver, and then I switched to corner, and then they put me back to receiver. But I didn't want to play. I didn't really want to. I was really upset. Like I begged them for like the whole week. Like, can I please stay at corner? Like, please just let me go back. Like I was really upset about it. Like I did not want to play receiver.
Guys, we got time for one or two more for Robby, then we got to go.
Hey, Robby, I was wondering, obviously you talked about Matt Rhule and Teddy Bridgewater being big appeals to coming to Carolina, but was there anything else that stood out to you compared to other teams that were interested in you during this process?
I always liked Carolina colors. I always liked their colors, and the conference too. I feel like it's going to be the best conference in the NFL and has some of the best receivers in the NFL, and that's what I want to compete against. And I just, I know that it's a culture area. It's not as far from Florida, and it's not as cold as Jersey and teams in the middle of the country and things like that as well.
One more for Robby, guys, or we can go ahead and go if everybody's got what they need.
Robby, I think we hear your dog barking in the background. What kind of dog do you have? What's the name?
I have two dogs. I have a Rottweiler. She's a girl. She's like a year and a month. Her name is Fendi. And then my girlfriend has a little Yorkie. His name's Liddy, but he's bad. He's a bad little dog.
All right, guys, I think that's a good place for us to go. Robby, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate everything.
Thanks, Robby.
Thanks, you.
Thanks, Robby. Appreciate it.
Robby.
Thank you, guys.